Hello everyone out there, good morning, or afternoon, it's morning for me. And what perfect time to do a warm-up exercise than right now. So this is the finger warm-up. I recommend this to all my beginning students and anyone who just wants to develop some finger independence. It's pretty simple. We can start at the 5th fret. I usually recommend the 1st fret if you're comfortable, but since it's so hard to kind of get used to this, I usually do it at the 5th fret. So the concept is this, where the first finger is at the 5th fret, your middle finger would be at the 6th, your ring finger would be at the 7th, and your pinky would be at the 8th. So each finger is going to occupy one fret space. And what we're going to do is just down pick the 5th fret, then put your middle finger on the 6th fret, third finger on the 7th fret, pinky on the 8th fret, just like that. Down, 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 down. Now when we're done with those 4 notes, we're going to jump to the next string on the 5th string. Down, 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 down. Move to the next string, the next string. All the way till you get to the top. Now you want to be able to keep your fingers to where they're all laying down on the strings. In other words, as you play the first finger to the second finger, the first finger stays down. As you play the third finger, the middle finger stays down, and so on. Now when you get to the top, what you want to do is shift up one. In other words, shift all your fingers up one, and you want to go backwards. So pinky, third finger, middle finger, first finger. Next string up, start with the pinky, lay all your fingers down first before you do it. Pinky, third finger, middle finger, first finger, pinky, third finger, middle finger, first finger. Well, you don't technically need to lay them all down, but you do want them, you don't want to do this kind of thing. We're going where it's kind of like that's the only note that you're ever going to need. You want to be able to keep all your fingers as close to the strings as possible out of habit. You want to have them start to sort of form to this shape before you even play the notes that you need. And you want to try to keep your finger from, like my pinky, how it's jumping a little bit. That's kind of coming up. This is the whole purpose of the exercise, is to get to where your fingers don't do that so much. You want to make it to where all your fingers eventually all kind of hover over the strings, and they're always there if you need those notes. So when you get all the way to the bottom, you scoot up again. So I recommend doing this from the 5th fret all the way to the 12th fret or higher on the electrics, and I think depending on your acoustic you may not be able to comfortably reach that, but just go as high as you can. Now something else is you want to make sure the left hand that you're holding the guitar nice and comfortable. So if you're new to this, watch the video on form and posture and that will help you. So you want to kind of make sure your left hand is underneath here, to where you're kind of doing this thing. You're doing like a thumb to fingertip sort of connection, and the fretboard's just in the way. The neck of the guitar is just kind of in the center of this. So that's the idea. You don't want to play real closed this way, where your wrist is coming at it with this kind of angle, and you don't necessarily need to play too far underneath to where you feel like you're hyperextending your wrist. You want to play just where it's comfortable and it feels good, and to where your thumb can actually be behind the neck in a way that you can stretch all your fingers out, and all your fingers are lined up behind each fret. That's important, but your hand grip still feels pretty relaxed. I mean, it's not going to feel perfect because this is new, but you want to make sure that you can move your fingers at least a little bit and have your wrist feel okay. So that's the objective. Now the next step after this, after you can go all the way up with down picks, all the way from the 5th to the 12th, is bring it down to the 1st and see if you can do it down here. It's a little bit wider. Notice how my thumb is taking a grip that's consistent for stretching over the entire exercise in this position. It's not shifting around. So that's the idea. Now step 3, when you're done with these two, after beginning at the 5th fret and working up to the 12th, and then step 2 being working at the 1st fret all the way up to the 12th. And you only really need to do this once. I would do this once at the beginning of your practice, or maybe in the middle of your practice. It is kind of tedious, honestly, but this is the best way to work each finger independently and to have to focus on that single note and make sure that note is good. So after you do it this way, you're going to switch to alternate picking the right hand, but only after the left hand is comfortable. So once this hand knows exactly how this feels and what it's doing, then the right hand can come through and go down pick, up pick. So you pick the 2nd note up, the 3rd note down, the 4th note up, down, up, down, up. It's a lot harder, but it's going to make it sound a lot better and a lot smoother and a lot more efficient. Then you're going to skip strings and go down, up, 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 down, up. When you get to the top, you just do it backwards. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down,